and it's time for another Macro Monday, this time on a Tuesday, where I get you ready for the week ahead in 5 minutes or less. For our US viewers, hope you enjoyed your long Labor Day weekend. And just a reminder, this is just a small snippet of our full Macro Monday newsletter. So if you're looking for more in-depth coverage of the week ahead, I highly suggest you check out the link that I'm going to put in the description of this video. It'll bring you straight to the full edition of this week's newsletter. All right, let's get into it. As always, we are going to start with our chart of the week. It's always a fun few days. You'll see on the data calendar on the next slide when we get both the national PMIs and the payroll report in the same week. While there are plenty of other data series to watch, investors this week will be laser focused on the ISM and S&P PMIs, as well as Friday's jobs numbers. And that's why we'll be paying attention to this chart. It highlights 3 of these key inputs. So what you're seeing here is a plot of the average of the employment components from the ISM Manufacturing and the ISM Services, that is in blue, and that is against payrolls in red. Last month, the average of the employment components hit a fresh cycle low, and given that this PMI average leads payrolls trends by about 6 to 9 months, this suggests payrolls are unlikely to climb substantially anytime soon. So, as we're getting a bunch of new data updates to the PMIs this week, we'll be watching for a potential inflection, in particular in the employment components of these PMIs, for an early signal that payrolls could finally turn the corner. And speaking of the job market, Powell's dovish tone reflects his growing concern over the labor market, and following weaker payroll growth and a slight uptick in unemployment from last payroll report, this week's data will test that outlook. So let's go day by day. On Tuesday, we get the ISM Manufacturing Index and its employment component, as we mentioned on the chart of the day slide. Both are historically reliable leading indicators for payrolls, and current trends imply cyclical slowing in hiring. Then if you turn to Wednesday, this is really a big employment week. We get JOLTS data on job openings, quits, and layoffs. Openings have softened from 2022 levels, but layoffs still remain low. The quits rate is reaccelerating, however, which suggests that workers are still confident in their ability to find new jobs. Then on Thursday, we get the ADP and Challenger job cut reports. Last month, ADP's chief economist, Richardson, noted that hiring and pay trends remain broadly consistent with a healthy consumer-driven economy. So this sits in contrast to Chairman Powell's concerns over a weakening labor market. And then on Friday, the big one, we get the non-farm payrolls report. July's disappointing plus 73K print and a 10 basis point rise in the unemployment rate to 4.2% drove expectations of Fed easing. We saw the chances of a September rate hike spike, and that was followed up by Powell's comments at Jackson Hole, which further fueled the thought that we will be getting our first rate cut in September. The consensus for August is plus 75K jobs, with unemployment inching up to 4.3%. What's really interesting about this report is a stronger print could actually weigh on equities. That's a little counterintuitive, but a stronger report would reduce the odds of a rate cut. And that is currently what the market is expecting. So we're at a pretty interesting time right now where good news could actually be bad news for the equity markets. That's what I'm going to leave you here with today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great 4-day week ahead of you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you right back here next week for another Macro Monday. Have a great week, everyone.